Hello, everyone. I'm your host, AJ, and welcome back to Deep Cuts, the show where we slice into the minds of the most innovative and captivating artists of our time. Today, I'm thrilled to have a true creative powerhouse joining us, actor and filmmaker Zelda Adams, a part of filmmaking family, the Adams family. With her bold storytelling and fearless performances, Zelda has captivated audiences worldwide, effortlessly weaving together the raw, the beautiful, and the thought provoking. From her stunning role in the critically acclaimed metal folk horror film Hellbender to The Deeper You Dig and coming soon Where the Devil Roams, Zelda continues to push the boundaries of artistic expression, leaving a mark on horror and contemporary cinema. So sit back, relax, and join me as we embark on an unforgettable journey into the creative genius of Zelda Adams. Zelda, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh my God, my bloody heart is exploding. That was such a nice description. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm excited to talk all things horror, film, fun. Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad that you're able to talk to me today.
Happily, happily.
First, with Where the Devil Roams, how was that having premiere at Fantasia Film Festival?
Well, it's premiering in July, and we are so freaking excited. Oh my God. You're talking about Where the Devil Roams, right?
Yes.
Or Hellbent? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're so excited. When we found out that we got into Fantasia to premiere there, we were just like, all right, that's all. That's all that we needed at this point because Fantasia has been so good to us. Our previous film Hellbender premiered there, and we just love them so much, and they treat us like a family and with love. And also, like the other creatives that we meet at Fantasia are incredible. So I really look forward to getting to premiere there and go there.
And just by the way, like this is, on topic, we're off topic, but Hellbender is probably one of my favorite horror movies from the past like 5 years, probably.
Oh my God, thank you. Oh,
Yeah.
that makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Um, that's so sweet. I making Hellbender was so fun, and I think that's my favorite film that like we've made just because like we learned so much in the process. And I think, yeah, I think Where the Devil Roams is something really new, so I'm excited for you to get to see that.
Oh, that's sick. I'm excited. I
Thank
remember when the Hellbender first came out, like on Shudder, all the hype on like Twitter and Instagram, everyone's like talking about it. I'm like, all I saw was just the picture of you holding the like the wooden like pentagram or whatever. I'm sorry, whatever that was, and I'm
Yeah.
like just from that alone, I'm like, okay, it looks like witchy folk vibe. I'm like, I dig it, and I watched it. And it's so kick ass. Like I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember. Oh, just fell. I remember when that photo like just like kept circulating around, and I was like, okay, I'm ready for people to get to see like other stills from this film. I think that photo does do a pretty good job at summing it up, like a girl, her totem, and some witchcraft. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like Fangoria was like pushing that bloody disgusting, and once I see it on there, it's like, all right, like you already know you gotta check it out.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, um, thank you.
Yeah, and oh,
This phone is fallen. Oh my gosh. There we go.
all good.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Now this is probably a question you never heard, but how'd you first become interested in acting and filmmaking?
Okay, great question. I was around 6 years old, and well, I'd always seen my like parents kind of like in the industry. Like my dad was a model, and my mom was an actress and a voiceover actress. So I always grew up watching her acting, and I was like, oh, that looks cool. That looks fun. But when she was around 40, she stopped getting hired by like Hollywood for roles just because Hollywood is like that and they don't like beautiful 40-year-old women. So she was like, you know what? Why don't we just write our own film and I can act in our own film? And so John and Toby came to me and my sister and were like, hey, how do you feel about acting in a film that we make as a family? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I would like to act. That sounds fun, especially since the Twilight movie. like had just come out, and I remember seeing like Kristen Stewart, and I was like, oh my god, I want to be like, I want to become a vampire and like be an actress. That seems so glamorous and fun. So of course I wanted to start acting.
Of course, Twilight starts it all.
Absolutely, it's notorious for that.
What's been like some challenging tasks when making the films with just, family members or a few people on crew?
I would say it can be challenging sometimes when you have like a bunch of differing ideas in a certain scene because everyone wants their idea to be put down and their voices to be heard. But I would say that that challenge is easily overcome because oftentimes we all just like shoot a scene three different ways so that we all feel heard. And then in the editing process, we see which way turns out best because editing never lies, honestly. So it's great having all of our different voices go into a scene because you can't go wrong, honestly.
I agree too. Like I'm like a small, indie filmmaker. Haven't hit Hollywood, but I recently got to make a Stephen King movie, like his part of his Dollar Baby program, if you've heard of that.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah, and you can buy the rights for $1, and
Right.
it's a really interesting process, and I don't really get to talk to a lot of like, indie filmmakers about it, so it's really cool hearing other tales of how it is in their process.
Absolutely. And like, I don't like the comment of like, making Hollywood. I think that we started off thinking like, oh my gosh, I hope that we like make Hollywood someday. But it's gotten to the point where it's like, wait, actually, maybe we like just like what we are, which is like the Adams family, like where it can just be us, like, and we can make our own stories and we're not limited by this like overarching voice. It's like, you need to do it this way, you need to shoot your film this way, and here's a set of rules that you need to follow. Like, fuck rules. We want to break all the rules.
That was actually like a perfect answer because my next question was gonna be like about that was like, do you feel like working on your own indies, like just a few people, you have so much more freedom compared to like Hollywood and producers telling you rules and like what to do?
I definitely think so because you get to have your hands in all the different baskets. You get to direct, you get to edit, write, shoot, act. Like it can be hard when you have a higher voice telling you what to do because sometimes your voice doesn't feel as heard and as important. I'm not saying all films are like that, but just in our personal experience, I will say, life would be so easy if there was like a huge budget that we could just like go get money from to do, whatever we wanted. But it's not like that, but that's what like makes the challenge fun, and makes it worth it. Like we really have to work hard and like count our money for our films and it really makes it feel worth it.
Yeah, totally. And also like you come up with more creative ways if you can't do it one way originally planned, you have to, come up with something else and it really feels like more special in a way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I remember in an interview you said a while ago, you and the family you do like several tasks at once when making the films. Like for example, in Hellbender, you would operate the drone while you were like in the car, acting at the same time. So I've always been curious, like how do you know how to like balance out the tasks between the family?
Yeah, great question. I think just from our like 13 years of working together, we've learned who really thrives at what, you know? So I'm someone like you said, I love to work the drone just because I've taken the time to like really embrace it and learn how to use it. So if there's a scene where there's a drone involved, maybe I'll use an extra hand for that. But if there is like a scene where it's like really dialogue heavy, Toby will often take a big like directorial role because she is really like she's a fantastic writer and wants to make sure that we hit all the points. So, and it also really just depends on who's not acting in front of the camera. Like if someone is not acting in front of the camera, they're undoubtedly like controlling the camera and directing from behind it.
Gotcha. That's really interesting. And do you guys like buy like all your equipment? Do you rent it? Like how does getting everything together go?
Yeah, so we buy all of our equipment and often like reuse it over the films. And what like so we started off with a Canon 5D Mark II, and then we moved up to a Canon 5D Mark III. And then I think like we bought another Mark III because like we wear our cameras
Yeah.
down. They travel through the dirt and the dust with us. Yeah, we buy all of our equipment. I don't think that we have ever rented anything. Um, yeah, we've found that Canon 5Ds are the best because they're affordable but super high quality, and they compete with like Hollywood films on the big
Mm.
screen, like quality
Oh,
wise, very well.
totally.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I got to use them once for a project and I love it.
yeah. What kind of cameras do you like typically use?
When I first started out, I just had it was this like older big Sony from like 2010. But recently it's been, just the typical DSLR for a few years, and then for my Stephen King movie, I actually filmed it all on an iPhone. Um,
Oh my God, sick.
and I used like various, lenses that I got from like Amazon or whatever, and tried to give it a more bigger look. And
Yeah.
I think it looks good. Like I know a lot of movies are being made on iPhones, but obviously if Steven Soderbergh can do it, I can do it.
No, absolutely. Oh my God. I would love to watch the film, and because I always tell people like, like what are the rules to like making a film? Like I need to have this kind of camera. I'm like, if you got an iPhone, you can make a film. Like
Yeah,
it'll look incredible too. Like they're really good quality now.
exactly. It's like use whatever you got. Like that's literally the line everyone uses. And, it all depends on
Yeah,
how you edit it all together also. No one's gonna care what quality. As long as the story's good, you're fine.
yeah, absolutely.
And also being cheap about it. Like I edited everything on a pirated Final Cut Pro.
Hey, I support that. I support that. You got to do what you got to do.
Oh, exactly. And even if it crashes a million times. But anyway.
That's a nightmare. I will say that. There we when we were filming Hellbender, um, we John was editing it on Premiere Pro on a tiny MacBook Pro, like a MacBook Air actually. And oh my, and we were just traveling around, so he didn't have his big computer,
Hmm.
and that computer crashed so much just because it couldn't handle like the file sizes and this,
Hmm.
like the software. It was tough.
Yeah, I agree. Same thing. I edited mine on a little MacBook from like 2012, and it just kept crashing and crashing, and it's
Yeah,
rough.
it is rough.
Anyway, what are some films or filmmakers that influence you as a storyteller?
That's a really good question. I'm gonna go with a super basic response. This director is not like a horror director, but I do think that he sculpts worlds in an incredible way. Wes Anderson really has a way of fusing acting, art direction, set design, writing, cinematography, all in a way where it's like he just creates a world in his films. And it really inspires me because when I make a film, I want people to feel like they've like entered this new world with like this a new smell, a new sound, a new like scene. I'm just super inspired by that, and I want to be able to leave a lasting impact on people like Wes Anderson can.
That's a great answer. Never heard of Wes Anderson, but no, I'm kidding.
I was like, wait,
No,
what?
no. But yeah, I totally agree. Like, especially like you said, you want to leave like a lasting impression on your films. And when watching either Hellbender or like Deeper You Dig, you can tell like it's an Adams Family movie. Like you guys
Oh,
have like that certain look to it.
thank you so much. That makes me really happy to hear.
Yeah, and hopefully this new one does also.
I, it leaves a lasting impact on me. Maybe that's just because like a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into it, but I hope it does for you.
Yeah, I mean, what movie doesn't have blood, sweat, and tears when making?
Especially the horror genre, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of blood and a lot of tears.
A lot of blood. Yeah.
What have been some like actually you answered this, but I was like most challenging tasks. But if you want to add anything to that,
Oh, you know what? We've shot a lot of our films in the winter, which is really freaking tough, but so worth it because blood on snow just looks so good.
It does. It really does. But it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's literally so cold, but it's all worth it. No regrets.
It is worth it. I'll agree with that. I made one film in the snow, and it was like a Macbeth like school project,
Ooh, yeah.
and I used a lot of blood for it, and I didn't think about like when filming, I didn't think about the snow trails in the snow. I'm like, oh,
Yep.
this looks bad.
Yeah. The only thing that prepared us for that was when we watched The Shining, and there's like that whole like concept where he like uses his trails like to like he covers up his trails, and we were like, oh my
Right.
god, we have to do that, and
Yeah.
like we have to make sure that we use our trails.
Oh, you see, I wish I knew that before I did that.
It's tough. It's a really hard task.
Is there any do you have like a certain process when you're developing a story, or like are there any specific themes or tones that you're drawn to when you're creating?
Definitely. So, well, the process, it normally starts with someone having an idea and then bringing it to the rest of the family and being like, "Hey, what do you think?" And then we have like a sit down or a drive where we all just like throw a lot of like idea spaghetti at each other. So like someone will throw one idea and it's super terrible and like the spaghetti falls down the wall. Someone will throw another idea and the spaghetti sticks, and then we just roll with that and like keep throwing spaghetti, see what sticks. And then once we have like a like majority of an idea, we try to just start filming as soon as possible because we found that waiting like stuff just doesn't get done. So we just start filming, and oftentimes we have to reshoot a lot of scenes because we do start very early. But through our filming process, we just learn so much and make a lot of mistakes, but we learn a lot from the mistakes. And then, wait, you had another question about, common themes.
Hmm.
I think that since we're a family, our films often have to do with like family dynamics and family life and love and learning. So yeah, it's just really fun to like navigate that theme.
And you talked about like learning from your mistakes. Like, is there anything like specific you learned from, say, like Deeper You Dig or Hellbender that you took with you into like your new projects?
Oh, definitely. I think specifically one of the react like we like to see what critics have to say and like audiences have to say about our films, even though sometimes it can be a little bit painful. You
Hmm.
actually do learn a lot from what people have to say. And something that people were saying was that the mother daughter storyline in The Deeper You Dig could have been developed so that people cared for the characters more. And we were like, you know what? We completely agree. So in Hellbender, we made sure that we really developed a true relationship between the mother and daughter so that you feel for both of them a lot more. So character development is something that we learn a lot about through each of our films.
Okay. And you feel like in this new one, you feel like the character development is, say, like different from the past few?
Yes, definitely. I think, well, not only is there my mom and me acting it, but John is in it too, and there's a lot of other characters in it. So there's more characters to develop. But I think that we definitely pushed on the character development in it.
Honestly, like I love how you guys do your own music also, especially in like
Oh,
Hellbender, and my favorite songs are Lovely and Blood on the Stone. Like I have those in
uh,
a like writing playlist when I'm working on projects.
yes, yes.
What's like the process like creating music also for your projects?
Yeah, so either we make music just for fun and then end up putting it into our movies, or we have our movie and then develop the songs to like accommodate the movie. But the process specifically is my dad at his computer. He's always been a musician and knows how to play a lot of instruments. And he has like a bunch of, I don't even know what they're called, like beat boxes and a lot of electrical things that he just produces all the music. And then we all kind of like sit down and write lyrics together, and then we me, my mom, and my sister sing on the tracks that he's laid down with like a guitar and a drum and like electrical beats and all that stuff. So it's a really fun like family process. But I would definitely say that John like produces it, and then we like sing on it and help write.
Man, you guys are so cool. Like,
Oh,
like just
thank
randomly,
you.
just randomly, like, oh yeah, we make music too. Like,
It's really fun. I love making music, especially because I've like grown up just watching my dad be in different bands, and I've watched him play live. So it's really cool now. Like at I think I started doing it when I was around like 12, but just like getting to like play music with him is so fun.
mm. Is there if you can you name a few of your like favorite bands or artists?
Oh, definitely. Um, I love Courtney Barnett. I can just shuffle her and I will like any song. I love Elliott Smith, whether I'm in a happy, sad mood. System of a Down is really great. They're good, like high band. Um, and I think for a more eerie vibe, I really dig the Pixies and the Toadies.
Okay,
Yeah.
those are really good choices.
Thank you. John and Toby definitely like raised Lulu and me with, I think, pretty cool music taste. But also like because we're so like present on Instagram and TikTok, like we are exposed to a lot more like modern artists like Billie Eilish. So sometimes it's fun to like bring an artist like Billie Eilish to my dad and be like, hey, I kind of like this vibe that she's doing with this like electro sing-songery vibe. Like, can we bring that into one of our songs? And we kind of tried to do that with Lovely, I think. And it's interesting, like how like my dad's and my mom's like old tastes combined with my sister's and my kind of like new modern taste too.
Right. Yeah, you can definitely tell in your Hellbender music also, like you said with Lovely, it's like very, eerie, soft, echoey
Yeah,
vibe. And then with like Blood on the Stone or something, it's very like rock punk a little bit. Like you
yeah,
guys like
yeah, exactly.
just do whatever you want, and that's so cool.
Thank you, thank you.
But yeah, I love, like System of a Down. That's a great one. I'm a big metal rock guy.
Yeah, would you recommend any other bands similar to System of a Down? Because I haven't found that many.
Um yeah, do you know Deftones? That's probably like a big one.
Oh yes, Deftones. There's a couple songs I like by them.
Other bands like System of a Down. I guess Korn would also be like that. If do you know
Corn, like Corn.
Korn.
Oh, Korn. Oh, I'll check them out.
Yeah, they're definitely that like new metal '90s style.
Oh, perf. Okay, great.
Not as like political with lyrics, but kind of that same vibe though.
Oh, speaking of political with lyrics, I really like the Dead Kennedys. That's a band that my dad
Uh,
showed me. And like Holiday in Cambodia, that's one of the only songs I know by them, but I'm just like singing this like
yeah,
political song. It's really good.
yeah. It's like especially when you're younger, you don't know what you're singing till like years later, and you're like, oh.
Oh, yeah. I still don't even really know, but that's for another day.
Oh, Dead Kennedys are good. I was a big like Tony Hawk fan as a kid, and the Dead Kennedys were in the soundtracks, and it's like
Oh,
so I didn't know at a young age how my music taste was being shaped from a video game. So I have Tony Hawk to thank for my taste in music.
I love that. I love that. That's great.
But is there a dream project that you have? Like, would you want to adapt like a Stephen King story or like remake any movie, adapt a video game?
You know what? No one's ever asked me this, and I'm so happy that you finally asked because I I really hope no one gets to this before me, but it's okay if they do because it's a good idea. But I really want to recreate the Grimm's fairy tales. I'm like, I is the horror girl in me loves to go and watch Disney movies. Like I just watched the live action Little Mermaid happily, and but I'm like, oh, you know what? I can make this creepy as fuck, and I want to do that too. And it would be so fun because fairy tales are so fucking like actually really scary underneath all of the like, like shiny stuff and glitter. So I would love to be able to make some creepy Disney stories.
And I think you would probably be perfect for
Oh,
that.
thank you. Thank you. I think like
Like,
Sleeping Beauty, like where we shot Hellbender and The Deeper You Dig would be like so wicked.
ooh, I agree. That's really good.
Yeah.
Like, it would be cool too if you do it like anthology movie style, where like you do the few stories in like one movie.
Yep. Oh my God. Wait, that's a really good idea.
Yeah,
Actually. Wow. Let me write this
yeah.
down.
No, I'm a big sucker for anthology movies. Like, I love them so much.
Me too. I would you consider like X, Pearl, and Maxine like an anthology series?
I would, yeah. I mean, each movie is like with different styles, so I guess I would.
Yeah. I really liked The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. That's an anthology, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. That's on my list though. I haven't seen that.
It's okay. It's really good because one of the like parts of the anthology, there's like this like duo that's traveling on like this like circuit where they do like a Shakespeare show, and it is very it reminds us a lot of Where the Devil Roams. So maybe you got to watch it
Oh,
in time for Where the Devil Roams when that comes out, and you can see them kind of like, oh, they're kind of
yeah.
similar.
Yeah, now that you tell me that, I'm gonna push that up on my list now.
Yay, good.
But yeah, like I love like like the VHS movies, like
Mm.
anthologies like that.
Oh, sick. Like what?
VHS 2 is probably one of my favorites. Like, the whole like found footage style.
Oh my God. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like people hate it, but I love it. Like I'm a sucker for it.
I've never seen VHS, so I will check it out.
I'd start with the second one. That one is just like balls to the walls, like gory, crazy. Like it's so good. I recommend it.
Okay, great. I'll check it out.
All right, sweet. Well, thank you. And are you a big gamer by chance? Like, do you play games?
You know what? I've never grown up with a TV, so I've never really played video games at all, despite my name
Really?
being Zelda. Yeah, no, never. Like, I think I once went to a friend's house and played Fortnite and sucked at it. So that's like that's the extent.
I'm really curious. You said you didn't grow up with a TV?
No, we've always just like lived in the woods where there's not cable. And like nowadays if you want to like watch anything, you can just watch it on your computer.
Mm,
So yeah, I guess just like the way that John and Toby kind of raised us was very like, ah, we don't really need a TV.
right. Wow, that's interesting. Consider like them being a part of like like filmmaking and acting.
Yeah. You know what? We might have had like an old like box TV when I was like 4 and like watched like VHSs and stuff, but
Mm,
that was I think the end of it.
wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And
I guess we like going to theaters a lot. Like we would go to movie theaters a lot.
oh, okay. Yeah, I from a young age I was a big movie. Like the poster behind me, Twister, was like one of the first movies I ever
Oh yeah.
watched, and
Oh
I
great.
still love it to this day.
Oh, it's so fun.
People hate it, but it's like it's a guilty pleasure, I guess. It's like why, It's a movie about Twister.
Yeah,
Like
it's
what
so
more do
kid.
you want?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I was just curious because there's so many great like video games that I think would be great for you and your family's style.
No, I think so too. I think it's a world that I've just never really known, but I know it can be so like artistic and like there can be like fantastic music associated with video games and action. I was watching The Last of Us recently and I really wish that I played the video game because I was imagining like how scary it would be like actually like being in that video game.
Right.
So that's a really cool point. Thank you.
Have you checked out any gameplay like Last of Us Part 2 like in preparation for the show?
No, not at all.
Okay. I'll leave it at that. I actually just played it for the first time a few months ago and it's extremely depressing. So
Oh no. Oh God. Do I want to check it out? I don't know. Will put me in a sad
If
mood.
yeah, if you're a fan of the show, I would just wait for the new season. But yeah, I would not recommend checking out the game.
Oh gosh. Okay, I'll take your advice.
'Cause I got insanely sad.
Oh no.
But yeah, I'll just leave it at that then. But changing topics from that. Uh,
No more depressing.
yeah. What advice would you give to aspiring actors and filmmakers?
I mean, I think it's my advice for filmmakers is more easy than for actors. For filmmakers, just like go out and do it and mess up and keep messing up because that is how you learn. And you don't need a lot to make a film. You can make it with your iPhone, a children's camera, anything. And if you don't have like a scene and you're too lazy to write a scene, improvise a scene and see where it goes. That's how you can come up with something. Like whenever we like actually film a scene, we don't have a script. We just like write in our notes app and we're like, all right, these are the main points we got to hit. Make sure Toby says this line and I say this line and boom, let's start going. Um, and I think for actors, subtlety is the most like important thing ever. I just think subtlety sells so much and being more calm instead of like just like overacting and being over obvious is the best advice I could give. I don't know.
Well, that's really great. Thank you for that.
Of course. Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to plug or shout out to anyone?
Oh, I don't really know. I don't think I need to like plug anything. I mean, our music is on Spotify and Amazon if anyone wants to, check that out. But I don't really. I'm not the best plug.
Well,
Oh, actually, I want to plug a movie that people should watch. You should watch The Innocents, ending with like Cents. It's a Swedish film. It's one of the best thriller horror films I've ever seen.
oh, is that the one on Shutter?
Is like the poster like a girl on a
Yeah.
swing? Yep, it's incredible.
So good. I just watched that like last week. Oh my
Oh
God.
my god, it's so good.
Oh, okay, yeah. Anyone listening, check that out.
Yep.
Well, again, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. This has been amazing.
You freaking rock. This conversation was so much fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and if it gets closer to release for Where the Devil Roams, if you want to do another one with the family or whatever, I'll
Yes,
be more than
that would be
happy.
amazing. We would absolutely love that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And again, thank you so
Oh,
much for
perfect.
doing this.
This was so fun. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
You too. Have a good day.
All right, peace. Bye.
Bye.